Doesn't the low-code, no-code approach simplify, or I should say oversimplify, the process of developing reliable, secure, and resilient business applications?
Thanks, Steve. Well, you're gonna love my first answer because it depends. A no-code, low-code platform can be powerful in democratizing application development and making it accessible, but like all tools, they have to be used with a deep understanding. That gap that you're mentioning between business understanding and technical realization can be bridged by these platforms. However, it's essential to combine no-code, low-code tools with a robust understanding of security protocols, regular audits, an awareness of the complexities in the modern hybrid IT world, like you mentioned. The simplicity of these platforms shouldn't be confused with a lack of depth or robustness. I strongly believe sometimes a low-code or no-code tool is the right tool for the situation.
Now, here's for you, Juliet. As earlier in the program, we covered the importance of establishing security as a key tenet of DevSecOps.
Sure.
So what security concerns should organizations be implementing in a low-code, no-code tools that they should be aware of? Is it risky for do-it-yourselfers to integrate code found on the internet? I mean, ultimately, this comes back to the vetting issue, but what are the legal ramifications, do you think?
So the security implications, I would say, one of the big issues now we're seeing is breaches due to third parties. And so what is being asked of smaller customers that serve large enterprises is that you be able to demonstrate a chain of either transparency or understanding of the risk associated with your suppliers. The challenge is, and this kind of aligns a lot with this software trust conversation, where you want to be able to trust the software you're using. If you're using, and it also kind of maps to this idea of cloud. So people have taken on low-code, no-code to transfer some of the cost and resourcing it takes to build out products to this other platform that's already developed. The issue is, how secure are they? What are their processes for securing your data? What are their best practices to make sure that they're not breached, or there aren't sort of weak controls put in place around the data that they're collecting that you're providing to them? And then what SSL libraries or databases are they using that you are or are not aware of that may put additional risk and vulnerability into your platform? So when we think about the security implications, the concerns around low-code, no-code is you're actually giving your data to someone else to protect for you. And you're doing it in this way where it's contract language, typically really small, complicated, lengthy, which means you likely haven't taken the time to understand what kinds of things you're giving away, what liability you're taking on. And then in the situation where that organization has a breach, how protected are you and then your customers from anything that might happen on that platform? So I like people to think about it in this way. We took a long time to move into the cloud. Lots of very, in the beginning, the early adopters. And low-code, no-code, we're in early adoption. The early adopters, they went into it, they made a lot of mistakes, there were a lot of breaches, and then you started to see regulation as a result of that. We're in the situation now, and really it's, I'm taking my servers and putting my data in your servers. You are the one liable and protecting it. It's the same thing here. I'm no longer owning the software developers. I'm no longer, and there's developers who do low-code, no-code, but traditional development. I'm also not building the platform itself. I'm building my platform on top of your platform. There will be a number of cybersecurity risks that come as a result of that. And so you've got to think less about what your company is doing and more about the parts of that supply chain or the vendor management procurement processes that you can't see. And you need to be very diligent about how you ask questions about how others are securing your data and your platform product.
Right. Yeah, because cloud services use what I call a shared responsibility model. So, which is about as gray as you can get, right? I mean, it's like, okay, well, what we will protect our physical environment, but the virtual environment, your software environment is your responsibility. Well, that leaves a lot of gaps in terms of of responsibilities and coverages that really could be a serious problem, depending on your company and your vertical. Now, this wouldn't be a complete discussion unless we included the impact of AI in the development process. Now, I feel the need to point out, and through research for an article I wrote recently, that a recent study from Purdue compared answers to coding problems between those of ChatGPT and humans at Stack Overflow, which is an organization that helps coders out. Anyway, they found that the AI supplied answers were wrong about half the time. Now, most of them were incorrect due to ChatGPT's inability to understand the underlying context of the questions being asked. But on the other hand, ChatGPT made fewer factual errors or formatting errors as opposed to conceptual errors. So ultimately, it shows potential, but it also seems to indicate that at this point, humans still need to be an important part of the development process.